What's up, everybody? Welcome to your daily digest for Friday, April 18th, where we bring you fact-based, non-sensational, objective information about what's going on in the broader crypto space. Today, we're kicking off with the DeFi Education Fund advocating for SEC Commissioner Hester Peirce's Safe Harbor Rule. The Safe Harbor Rule essentially outlines a way for projects in the US to create a blockchain project and also launch a token while giving them a handful of years to fully decentralize so that the tokens are not viewed as securities but as commodities. A safe harbor will allow projects to safely operate while the long-term legislation and regulatory processes play out in Congress. So this would allow the regulatory agency to regulate while our elected officials create laws that we all have to abide by when it comes to market structure and blockchain projects. In other news, last quarter, stablecoin transactions outpaced Visa payments. Here is a cool, nifty little graph that shows Visa transactions Visa payments, in green, and stablecoin transactions just rising up and to the right over time. And as we saw in 2024, more stablecoins were used for transactions than Visa was for transactions on that network. And just a quick overview of what's going on in the broader stablecoin space. There are currently $227.4 billion worth of stablecoins, and the overwhelming majority live on Ethereum. Crypto exchange EXCH is going to shut down amidst money laundering accusations that the exchange was used to launder tokens from the Bybit hack that happened last month, which was the largest hack ever in the history of any financial anything at $1.5 billion. RIP to EXCH. And in other hacking news, the decentralized exchange KiloX had $7.5 million of tokens stolen, and the hacker returned them all. So now the hacker is going to receive a 10% reward of the covered amount and be viewed as a white hat and will not have the police and other global jurisdictions on his case. So congrats to all involved on a successful theft and return of funds. Synthetics is an over-collateralized stablecoin provider, and they have recently seen a massive depeg of their stablecoin from $1 to 68 cents. However, that is all part of the play of the stablecoin. It is supposed to be a volatility-reduced coin and not necessarily a stablecoin that is forever pegged at $1. In the interim, since this article was released yesterday and today, we have already seen a rebound in the SUSD price as it's now hovering around 82 cents at 83 cents. So nature is healing itself. In US-based news, we have three cool pieces of state news. First, boo, Oregon is suing Coinbase after the SEC dropped its federal lawsuit. And Coinbase head legal stated that essentially the Oregon case is a copy-pasta case of the SEC's case that was brought under Chair Gensler, that was dropped by the SEC. And Paul Grewal says this type of political jockeying is an embarrassing waste of Oregon taxpayer dollars. Not sure why the state is already going after a case that was dropped by the feds. Wyoming is also looking at whether its stablecoin is covered by SEC rules. This is just to point out that we're now in the part of the game where states are exploring launching their own stablecoins, and they want to make sure if their proposed stablecoin structures match up to what the feds and the regulators are looking into. So keep your ears to the ground for the Stable Act and the Genius Act that are going through Congress, as well as the SEC's outlook on stablecoins. And second to last, Arizona Crypto Reserve Bill has passed House Committee. This means that Arizona is one step closer to establishing a Bitcoin strategic reserve. However, I do want to caveat that the governor, Kate Hobbs, has recently been vetoing bipartisan bills, so I wouldn't be clamoring yet that the state is going to buy our bags. However, on the flip side of the coin, all of these states in the US are currently going through some sort of Bitcoin or crypto strategic reserve bills. Some are further along than others, and it makes me sad to to not see the lovely state of Colorado included in this list. And lastly, shout out to Arbitrum, the first L2 network that has exceeded $300 billion in trading volume on the Uniswap protocol, which allows you to swap tokens without going through a centralized or custodial exchange like Coinbase, Kraken, or the others. So shout out to the L2. If you appreciated this video, please don't hesitate to hit that heart button and to slap me with the follow. And please, if you want to keep up to date with what's going on, head over to our subreddit, r/Smart Economy Podcast, to keep up with all of the daily digests, our weekly spaces, and our podcast episodes that we release twice a month. Have a great weekend, and see you next week.